Coming up next, we have Marvin Hamilton. He Vice President Human Resources at Condé Nast. Throughout his 18 plus years of experience, he has successfully worked in various industries, including marketing, advertising, trade shows and business conferences, healthcare, staffing, and media, okay? And he has a passion for talent management, helping people cultivate who they are in the workspace, who they are. Yes, Harlem babies, I see you guys. But Marvin has a passion for organizational development, training, and being able to help companies and employees achieve optimal success. So I'm very excited to have him join us. Is he, Marvin, are you in the room yet, sir? Come on and send me the request. Hi, everybody. Hi. Hey, while we're waiting on Marvin to chime in, hey, Bronx. Hey, Grand Concourse, I see you. Detroit, I see you, Detroit. So guys, hi, Philly. In addition to letting me know where you are, let me know what the gems are that you are getting from this. Let me know, you know, what's resonating with you right now in these moments. As we, you know, are continuing to look at these different changes that are taking place in our world, as we are looking for that sense of, I'm sorry, I'm trying to multitask here. I don't know if that's you. As we are looking for that sentiment of what's next and how we continue to travail through these new norms, how we then move towards doing that with keeping our fear in check. Because there are times when we are just in a fearful place. You know, we're dealing with mortality, real talk. We're dealing with, hello, Melvin Moore. We're dealing with, you know, how we have a job to go back to, if we have a job to go back to. We're dealing with a number of things, how our kids are learning, how they get to the other side of this. We're dealing with a number of things that are not just about our own personal self, but then it goes beyond that to the workplace. And so, yes, while we have, you know, been working through conversations and Zooms and, you know, all of that, there's still that sense of what happens when I go back? You know, what happens when this now shifts into something else? So I believe I have clicked on to Marvin. And if this is not you that I just sent a request to, motivational speaker. If that is not you, Marvin Hamilton, don't answer this call. That's so rude. Let's see, it's a matter of dealing with grief and moving through that. We are grieving what we know to be normal. Oh, that's an excellent point. Who said that? Tara71. That's a really good point, that we are grieving a really big part of what we knew to be normal, our normal. Okay, motivational speak is unable to join, so perhaps that was not you. Kira, if you are here, let me know. Marvin is trying to come in. Okay, Kira, let me know what his handle is, please. Oh, and before I forget to tell you, I watched an episode of this TV show I love called Running Wild with Bear Grylls. And Sterling K. Brown, the wonderful, amazing, award-winning actor, Emmy Award winner, Sterling K. Brown, many of you know from This Is Us, Black Panther, the People versus O.J. Simpson. I mean, just his acting is on some whole nother, just oof. Anyway, he did an episode of Running Wild with Bear Grylls. And at the end of it, this is what he said. And I wrote it down verbatim. I kept rewinding, so I made sure I got it Correct. He says, fear is not something you have to run away from. Fear is something that you have to run towards and then through. And then when you look back on the other side of it, it's not there anymore. How he gonna give us that amazing quote about fear and be the bomb actor that he is? Come on, Sterling K. Brown. Y'all need me to read that to you again? Here we go. Fear is not something you have to run away from. Fear is something you have to run towards and then through. And then when you look back on the other side of it, it's not there anymore. Child, come on and drop that fear knowledge, Sterling K. Brown. My goodness, yes. And you know, he said this after he had done some amazing, you know, things in terms of the challenges and the things that he was doing out in the wild and surviving and doing all of this. He had just rappelled down a frozen waterfall. He had done a lot of stuff. But at the end of the day, it definitely was amazing. It was wonderful. And he did that. Are you Marvin?
I am. I'm sorry, Kim. I was having trouble.
Popped up in here when I'm talking.
You had to check. I'm sorry. That's my bad. It's good to see you, sis.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's a pleasure seeing you. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties.
No worries. No worries at all. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's an honor. It's an honor.
Yeah. Kira speaks so highly of you, as does Tiffany, who was just in the room.
Those are my little sisters. Yeah, I think the world of them. They are absolutely amazing. And so again, thank you for the opportunity. And I was so enthralled with Tiffany. I forgot where I was for a minute. I was like, I need to get on. I'm about to miss my note with Kim. I was about to mess up the whole thing, but yeah, for sure. Love the energy.
Well, thank you so much. Hello, I just saw a hello from a dear old friend of mine, Glenn Scarpelli. Hello, my darling old friend. How are you, Glenn? Many of you remember from One Day at a Time, and Glenn and I go back 200 years, easy. So it's good to see you in the room, Glenn. But Marvin, thank you so much. I was very excited to include your thoughts because you come from a really different perspective, I think, as it relates to fear and in the workplace, in the workspace, professionally speaking, fear when it comes to going after something. The paralyzing aspects of fear that don't let you go after something. Where would you like to start with all of that?
Yeah, you know, it's funny because I had all these thoughts before I was watching Tiffany, and then I had about 10,000 other thoughts. And so let me first say I used to be with Condé Nast. I'm no longer with Condé Nast. I'm an HR leader for a tech company here in New York. Okay. But I will share with you, fear is there's so many different ways to go around it. One of the things I think that's the most challenging thing to do in your life, outside of deciding on where you want to live, who you want to marry, or it's really how do you manage your career. And I think when it comes to people of color, when it comes to women, you know, what goes on in the workplace is really challenging because a lot of times fear comes from the fact that you don't feel safe. And I watch how people show up every day. And if you show up and there's not somebody who is either an advocate for you or who looks like you or who's supporting you or is inspiring you. In fact, if it's quite the opposite, if you're feeling like you're getting, basically you're getting shade because from a racial perspective, from a gender perspective, you're not going to show up in your true self. There's no way you're going to be able to be successful. Right. And so oftentimes I see time and time again, it's not that someone's not talented. It's not that they're not smart. It's not that they're not inspired to do well, to be their best self. It's because they're in an environment that's not creating a cultivating and nurturing space for them to be that. And so oftentimes I see us walk in those spaces and it is fearful because you don't feel like you're in a safe place.
So that said, and that's an excellent point and an excellent jump off, then so that fear doesn't win, how then do we create a safe space for us you know. And I don't mean that whole fake it till you make it, but I mean that shown up for real. In this moment, I am grounding myself in a safety, even that I can create and control. And if it's a safety bubble that I've created, then how do I roll that bubble around and still operate?
Yeah, no, that's powerful. I think it first, and you said I think earlier about being authentic, and that's such a word that's thrown around so much. But the reality is that oftentimes we're very scared to show up with who we are. You know, I think Tiffany said, she said, "Hey, I understand my space of privilege because I've been in this space. People know who I am. I can move a little bit more freely." But how do you get to that point, right? How do you actually get there to where you can actually add that level of confidence to what you do? It's not easy. It really isn't. I think first you have to be who you are outside, right? So whether you're coming into work as an employee or maybe you're an entrepreneur, but you've got to first be who you are. Like what you do doesn't make who you are. Who you are doesn't make who you are. Right. So you have to bring your best and say, look, you know what? I know this environment may not be ready for me, but I have to stand on my values and on my truth. Then you begin to start connecting with people who understand that and people who have their own values and their own truths. And that's how you start creating that safe space.
I'm seeing some comments where people are talking about not being given the opportunity. And I really welcome your thoughts on that. But for me, guys, right now, there are so many ways to create your own opportunity, to create your own shot. And I'm not just talking about if you're a creative and you're in the creative space. I mean, whatever you do, there is a way for you to, number one, show up and be able to create your own opportunity, even if it's a small stepping stone to your next stepping stone, which is the big opportunity. I do understand. I don't fully subscribe to the idea of waiting for the opportunity or to be given the opportunity. Because right now, you know, everybody is scrambling and figuring it out, and everybody's hustling and that sort of thing. So just know you've got the tools, and if you don't, you have the ability to get them. But you've got. And notice I didn't say the resources; I said the abilities to be able to just jumpstart the opportunities. Because then that's the universe, you know, you're waking up the universe, you're waking up your space around you to go, oh, they want this. They're not waiting. You know, I can't tell you how many times my team knows we ain't waiting. I wish we would wait. What? And even though there are times when you just have to understand that there is timing. And if you're a person of faith, there's God's timing, the universe, whatever you believe. But there is still that sentiment of set the table, you know, set the table, build the table. If you don't have a seat at the table, if there's no table for you, build it, build the chair, make yourself the seat, all of that. And then once you have done all of that, then, you know, you're at that next phase. But I want us to kind of move away from that idea, even with baby steps, guys, of waiting for an opportunity or to be given an opportunity. Where are you on that?
Yeah, I'm just about to say amen. Look, I think, you know, and I've seen this time and time again, where people will say, Marvin, I've been on this job for 5 years and no one's noticing me, and they pass me over. I'm like, well, what have you done to show up in a way that they've never seen? Or what have you done to do better than what they saw? You know, the fact that you're in the room is that you have an opportunity. What you do with that moment in time is up to you. No one's going to give you anything. You've got to create, just what you just said, you've got to create your reality. And if you're there, it's your responsibility to take it to a whole nother level.
Yeah. We're going to leave man of color off the table for a moment and just deal in gender at the moment. As a man, right now, given all the climate of everything, how have you had to work through fear? And I purposely, guys, I purposely left, I said, let's leave man of color off the table for a minute, because that's a whole
Yeah,
different
it
set
is.
of elements.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
right now, just as a man,
Yeah.
how have you had to navigate through some of the workspace and workforce with
Yeah.
fear?
Yeah, I think it's an excellent question. I think, I've been challenged, I think the last 5 years really to kind of decide what masculinity is to me. And oftentimes we hear about the toxic masculinity, which is really that shell that oftentimes we wear, that like we're strong and we always have to be strong and we can't show
Mm-hmm.
emotion, we can't show vulnerability. And what I realized was, and I was doing that for a very, very, very long time, it was killing me. And what I
Mm-hmm.
realized was that, you know what, that's that's just masking. That's masking your hurt. That's masking your pain, and you're literally disconnecting from your own humanity. And so, what I had to begin to learn, it started a couple years ago, but then it even accelerated in the last year for a lot of different reasons. Was that, you know what? I have to stop for a second and say, okay, Marvin, how are you feeling? If I'm not feeling good about it, I have to be real. So, Marvin, you know what? You're not feeling good today.
Yeah.
Why not? I have to get into that. And if I'm dealing with somebody, I have to say, you know what? This is where my headspace is, and not feel like it is an assault against who I am as a man,
Yeah.
my masculinity,
Mm-hmm.
or anything of that nature. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think that's been challenging. But I think also as a man, we also have to think about how are we interacting with other people, right? Like that old school, like I'm a man, like that's not that there's no place for that in the world anymore. And so I think even in the workplace where I see a lot of times males still haven't gotten that right. They're still man-explaining. They're still, not seeing the value of other genders. So like real talk, I think part of what I do is try to help other men or males see that. Like I was like, that's not cool. Like that's what you just did to your manager, who is obviously a competent and gifted talent, and you literally like, so it's really helping people understand, calling it out, and helping people coach through like
Mm-hmm.
what their own toxic masculinity might be.
Mm. Guys, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to either type, well, actually in this if you can, and if you don't have, something to write with and on, do this at another time. Write down the word masculinity, and then you see where the C is, MASC, right? Masculinity. I want you to take pen, crayon, Sharpie, whatever you might have, and I want you to draw a line. This is what was given to me just as you were talking about
Mm,
masculinity, and you said
mm,
it's like masking. If you draw a
mm,
line on the
mm,
side of the C, that's the
mm,
curve, you've spelled mask.
mm. That's powerful.
Draw a line.
That's powerful.
Draw the line where you
Mm,
say, you know what, I'm not going to mask anymore.
that's right.
I'm not going to mask anymore. And if there's fear from that, then that's another element to work through. How would they? Because I wouldn't pretend to know or pretend to be able to speak to the male to be able to
Mm.
say, well, here's how you should do that. No, fuck you, Kim Fields. I don't care if you didn't grow up on TV. You don't know me. You don't know my life. You don't know. You don't walk in these shoes. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And
yeah,
I'm woman enough to go, you're right. So watch this.
yeah,
Nope. What say
yeah,
you, sir?
yeah. Because I did this with my boys about a year ago, and we were all on a call, and we literally began to challenge each other. Like, yeah, man, you know what we did that, but yeah, but why did we do that? Like, yeah, you know what we did, but why did we do that? Like, and what we thought back in the day was cool of being the dude.
Yeah.
We were now like in retrospect asking ourselves, not just then, but even now, well, what are you doing now? How are you changing? And like, where's your mindset? What does that mean? So I think part of it as men, you have to step back and challenge. You have to go under your mask and
Mm-hmm.
say, what is under that? What have I been wearing for so long, and why have I been wearing it? And what does that mean to me? And what doesn't it mean to me? Oftentimes we just go through life and we're almost insulated from our true feelings. We just go in auto mode, and we look up, and 10 years later we're still doing the same thing in the same way, getting the same results because we
Mm-hmm.
never really question. So I think for men, we have to get under that mask, get under the hood, really question our motives, question the actions
Mm-hmm.
that the motives are driving, and really challenge ourselves in a way that's real and that's honest. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
pretty. And
Yeah.
it's not easy because you come out of some of the things that come back is like, oof. I didn't know that was me.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was my belief. I didn't know that was, you know, who I
Mm-hmm.
really was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So doing that work, doing that process, I'm gonna put you on the spot. This
Hmm.
way, I know you won't say no. But some of the things
Yeah.
that we talk about
Yeah.
at Refresh by KF
Okay.
is yes, we have a theme. September's theme. I told the team I wanted to talk about fear,
Okay.
but I'm finding that this is an ongoing conversation.
Hmm.
This is work. It's a process.
Yeah.
So would you be available to us to be a contributor, to be
Hmm.
able to help our male,
Mm.
the male part of our village,
Hmm.
to be able to do that work and to, go under the hood, like you said, and be able
Hmm.
to work through that process so that, the masculinity becomes very pure,
Mm.
and they
Mm.
can then maybe erase that line after they have, drawn the
Right.
line, done the
Right.
work.
Right.
Because we have some great questions on it. People wanting to know, so how do I get away from being complacent? Well, how do I not let fear paralyze me? Because as a man, I feel like my
Right.
family's looking at me for the answers.
That's right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's real. And knowing that, I would make it even more personal. So I have an 18-month son, 18-month-old son.
Mm.
And it was interesting because what I realized, and that's why this last year has also been terrifying through a different lens.
Mm.
Thinking about, well, what will I be telling my son who is black, how to survive, and how the world will look at him? How can I keep him safe?
Mm.
And so all those things have been going through my mind. But I think what I realized even in this journey of fatherhood and in this journey, particularly in the last year, is that you just have to be vulnerable, and you just have to say it is. Let me get inside myself for a second. Literally question every. That was my. So this is my process, I guess, more directly. I
Mm.
literally had to go back and ask myself, what am I not doing, and
Mm.
why am I not doing it, or what am I doing that's not healthy, and so started identifying certain traits or certain behaviors or certain trends I saw myself involved in. Like, that's not cool. Like, why are you doing that? And so part of it, I think, the work is sitting down and really get inside and understand what those things are. I know that sounds probably like, okay, Marvin, yeah, we get it, but really, as men, that's not what we do. We don't, and I
Right.
can't speak for all men, but oftentimes my experience has been,
Mm-hmm.
as men, that's not what we do. We
Mm-hmm.
go in auto drive. We act like we got all the answers.
Yeah.
Don't you dare question me. This is how I roll. And
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes there may be this male privilege in a setting that you're going to lean on, but again, that's still a mask.
Mm-hmm.
So to really get in and do the work and
Mm-hmm.
and have an accountability person
Yeah.
there, that's close to you, that can actually see beyond your mask and tell you that's what you look like,
Mm-hmm.
that's the work. That's the journey.
Mm. That's good stuff. So,
Yeah.
um, so will you be an ongoing contributor with us in this part of the
Listen,
process?
I would be honored. I would be
Yeah.
absolutely honored. I would be absolutely honored. Thank you for the
Awesome.
opportunity, and thank you for asking. I would be honored.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, guys, especially gentlemen, again, follow Refresh by KF, subscribe to our YouTube channel. But by following us, you'll be able to, put questions out there, have conversations. We'll do some more conversations that may not be on the Instagram Live platform, but definitely a way to be able to connect and to, for me, Refresh by KF, we should be an accountability partner. We
Mm,
should be that. Thank you, Tiffany. But I feel like we should be. I'm always talking about accountability, and it doesn't just mean in terms of authority and government and
mm,
police and all of that. No, it's also just being accountable to one another, and being accountable and finding those touch points of accountability.
mm.
So we welcome you into our Refresh family, sir. And
Thank you.
definitely, gentlemen, I mean it when I say, I have such real estate in my heart for the
Mm,
male journey,
mm,
and wanting to make sure that while that's in motion, you know, that we also, for the female side, that we understand, and like Tiffany said, we as empaths respect the process from others and for others. So this is a conversation that we will continue. Thank you so much, Marvin. I know that there's
Thank
a
you.
lot of
Thank
questions
you.
that people have. Someone said,
Yes.
I am a Black man ready. All right. All
I
right.
love it. I love
And
it.
so we
Love
will,
it.
you know, continue these conversations. Marvin, thank you so much. Blessings to you and your family, your 8
Blessings to
month
you as
old.
well. Thank
Thank
you.
you for joining us. And this is, you know, this was the intro step to, you know, a much bigger rapport and relationship that you have with our brand. So thank you very, very
Thank you
much.
so much for the opportunity. Stay well, stay healthy. Thank
Thank you.
you.
You too. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. Wow. That was a lot, huh, guys? That was, tell me where you are with that. You know, we've only got another minute or two before IG kind of cuts us off, but how are you doing? How are you guys doing? You know, Joy Krista, thanks for the talk. Helped greatly. Wonderful, wonderful. That was great. Okay, good. I'm glad that you're getting so much from this, you know. Again, as we're talking about fear, the overall theme seems to be, or not theme, but the overall, the repeating takeaway seems to be that there are ways and tools that we have where it doesn't paralyze you, where you can see it coming, see it for what it's worth. As Corey said last week, Corey Mascara, who is our mindfulness friend and coach and brother, that he said, you know, listen, welcome it, you know, acknowledge it, that fear is real. It is there. It's a part of our arsenal for a reason. My task, I felt like in this moment, was to be able to say, don't let it control you. You have to have the control and the power in terms of fear. Don't let it paralyze you. Don't let it make you feel like you cannot do something. Joy Krista continues and says, it helped me figure out how to ground myself at work and take baby steps towards creating. Excellent. That's great. Yes, absolutely. My stuff says, good stuff, therapeutic, wonderful. So I just appreciate, someone said off topic, what lipstick are you wearing? You know what? I don't know. It's a lip gloss I got at the beauty supply. Sorry, that's all I got for you. So someone said, I took time off work to give to the homeless and take time for myself and my business. Gratitude is helping me get through. That's wonderful. That's really great, guys. I'm really happy to hear that this is landing for you. You know, I'm not here to use my platform just to be an actor. That's what I do. It's not who I am. I'm a lot more than that. And so part of who I am is to be able to share and share the resources of people in my village. And so they are amazing people. They are gifts. And so I'm so glad that, yes, someone said, do it afraid. That was your takeaway. Trina Homebody. Yes, do it afraid. So being able to understand fear and see it coming and not let it run you over like a train with no damn train schedule. We're not doing that. That's not going to happen, not on my watch. So if I'm able to share, somebody said, what we talking about? You just joined us, baby. Hi, honey. Dayton, Ohio just joined and chimed in. We're talking about fear and making sure that it doesn't run us over, and that we have some tools and some understandings to how to work through fear, both personally and professionally, so that, oh, thank you, Glenn. So that you don't let fear, you know, take over and paralyze you, but that you get to a place where it's something that is a useful and helpful tool, but that is one that you don't, you know, again, let it run you and control you. So that's what we were talking about today as well as last week. Guys, listen up. Next month for Refresh by KF. Okay, you can follow us, you can befriend us, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, it's Refresh by KF. Yes, I'm still acting. Yes, I'm going back to work. Hallelujah, on my Netflix series that stars Mike Epps and Wanda Sykes, Jamel Simon, and Paige Kennedy very, very soon. And so someone said, step out of your comfort zone and have confidence. Yes, absolutely. Excellent point. Drew Steelers, great job. Great job. Someone says, face your fears head on and they no longer feed anxiety. Oh, thank you very much for that. Wonderful, wonderful. So again, for next month over at Refresh by KF, we're going to be doing some really, really great things in terms of live. And of course, when you look at it in different contexts, the word live also says live. But we really want to talk about living. And, you know, there's that term out there now, you know, I'm out here living my best life. So we want to be able to help you contribute to being out here and living your best life. So that's up for us. That is it for us. Someone mentioned fear of death and mortality. Again, we will be having, this is an ongoing conversation. Dealing with fear, working through fear, it's a process. And that is certainly a big touch point to work through as well. So we will continue this. All right, guys, have an amazing, amazing Saturday and the rest of your weekend. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you to Kira and everyone at Refresh by KF. My team is fantastic. My team is amazing. So please give them, as you are heading out of this room, give them some applause for me, please, for the Refresh by KF team. I appreciate you so very much. Oh, Peggy and Brandy, those are my cousins. Hi. That's why she's hollering at me in all caps. Peggy and Brandy are here. Hi, cousins. I love you guys. All right. Have a great one. Take care.